Well, it is a really hot day, and I just finished deadheading some roses, and now what I'm going to do is deadhead this salvia. So as you can see, it's mostly spent, and it's just the tippy tops that still have some blooms on there. Last year, I deadheaded this and it didn't reflush, so I'm a little bit nervous about deadheading it because I would rather just leave it as is if it meant no more blooms. But I'm going to try again this year, give it a good deadhead. It is just the first week of July. We just wrapped up, so hopefully there will still be enough time for it to rebloom and reflush. So let's give that a try. So just going to take this down to the very bottom of the bloom stalk to the next set of leaves and cut it back. So I'm just taking off the spent blooms. And this is a pretty quick job to do. And I gotta admit, pollinators love, love, love this plant. So like I said last year, I didn't get a reflush. Hoping that I'm doing this early enough this season that I will. So I think that might have been the issue last year, is I might have waited too long for the very tippy tops to bloom out. And I've seen that some people actually, so you can see, half of it is spent and half of it is still good. I think last year I waited for the whole stalk to kind of die down, and I think that was the mistake, because then it didn't give it enough time to reflush. So hopefully this year solve that issue. But you know, you only find this stuff out because by trial and error. So if it works this year, I'll know for next time. Alright, so there, we're all done. Let's show you how it looks now. So you can see I left a little bit of small blooms on there that are looking good. And in general, it's looking like a nice little mound. Give it some water, and hopefully we'll have a second bloom. So those are the spent bloom stalks, and here's a closer look at the salvia. I believe this is Violet Riot, and I wasn't too particular. You can see I just chopped off above the leaves. I think these are a member of the mint family, and you can tell by the square stems that I believe are hollow. Now the other thing I was told is that you can do a succession in a way by doing the Chelsea chop on half. So if you wanted to, in May, you could Chelsea chop maybe half the stems, and then you would have 2 flushes. So that's another way of doing it. I almost feel like I can't even go out in the garden without a pair of secateurs because there's so much deadheading to be done. So here we have pincushion blue, or I think butterfly blue, scabiosa or pincushion flower. Look how beautiful, so beautiful. And we have some new ones coming up. So what I'm gonna do is just deadhead these spent ones. And you don't have to do that, because I think even, you know, when all this stuff sloughs off, it's very interesting. It's a very interesting seed pod. But because I have so many more coming, I'm gonna just deadhead it to keep the plant looking nice and tidy. A few more here that I'm gonna take down. And then we're gonna enjoy it looking fresh. And then eventually, when there's no more buds to be had, I will leave the seed pods. So what I do is I just take this, go down as far as possible and snip it down. All right, and also in the mint family, here is my cat's pajama nepeta, which is a little bit small. I put this in as a small plant, and you can see it's basically bloomed out, and it's evening, all the pollinators are done for the day. So I'm also gonna cut this back and deadhead it to just make it hopefully flush out a second time. So I'm gonna try to do this with one hand here. Just try to go down to a set of leaves underneath the spent bloom. And a little bit careful because this is such a small plant. Just getting established. And you can do this in stages. You don't have to do this all at once. You can just take off a little off the top and then go down farther if you need to, because of course you can always take more off, but you can't put it back. And also, you don't have to be too precious about it either, because as long as you have the plant there with the roots, it'll be fine. It should be fine anyways. Right, all done there. So you can see I left a little bit of these buds here at the very bottom. Hopefully those will grow and we'll get a second flush. It smells really nice. Everything in this mint family has this really nice smell. All right, it is getting dark, but this is only cool time to work. So last thing, I think this is gonna be the last thing I'm gonna deadhead, is this penstemon. So this is onyx and pearls, and you can see the blooms are mostly spent. This got really tall this year. Last year I let it go to seed, and I have little babies on the ground, which are fantastic. But this year I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna deadhead it, and hopefully it'll reflush, because I did love the seed pods. You can see some of them starting to form here. Right there. They're so pretty. But let's try something different this year and deadhead this. Okay, I'm just gonna show this nice tall stem. You can see that it's fading, starting to develop these seed heads, seed pods. So what I'm gonna do is follow it all the way down, and there's more buds here. I'm just gonna follow it down to these set of leaves and cut it there. And that's it. And this one, I'm gonna follow this one down to this set of leaves here. So that's how I deadhead them. And I'm just gonna do that for all these spent blooms. Just like that. All right, as we continue on our deadheading journey, I have this gorgeous clematis, the vagabond, and it's growing up through this lilac I have on standard. So you can see the lilac is planted, and this clematis is just doing so wonderfully. It's just grown right up the trunk, completely covering the trunk. And it is so floriferous as well. You can see all these lovely, lovely blooms. I think this is one of my favorite clematis. And let me show you a seed head. So here, that is what the seed head looks like. And usually I leave them just because I like that interest. But right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pop off those to encourage this to keep blooming. And then when it slows down, then I will leave these seed heads on for interest. But for now, it's doing so wonderfully, I want it to keep going. So I'm gonna deadhead some of these seed pods, these seed heads that are growing here. So I'm gonna demonstrate how I do it on this one right here. You can see, beautiful seed head. What I do is I just go back down where it joins the rest of the vine and just give it a clipping right there. See? Just like that.